A great sage had a young student, brilliant, devoted, and, it must be said, more than a little proud of his own brilliance. One day the sage said to him, "I'm sending you to King Janak. There is something you need to learn, something I cannot teach you." The young man was puzzled and quietly offended. "You are the greatest sage I know," he thought. "What could a king possibly teach me that you cannot?" But he went. Because you do not argue with your teacher, at least not out loud. King Janak received him with great warmth. He showed him to the finest room in the palace, the softest bed, the most fragrant flowers, food that the young man had never tasted. A servant came to ask if there was anything he needed. The young man lay down on the bed, tired from his journey, ready for the finest sleep of his life. And then he looked up. Hanging directly above him, suspended from the ceiling by a single thin thread, was a naked sword. Its blade pointed straight at him, gleaming in the lamplight. A single breath of wind away from falling. The young man did not sleep. He lay completely still, his eyes fixed on the sword, his body rigid, through the entire night, watching, waiting, afraid to breathe too deeply, afraid to move. Because a single moment of unawareness, and it would all be over. In the morning, King Janak came to him, smiling, rested, glowing with the ease of a man who had slept beautifully. "I hope you slept well," he said. "Was the bed comfortable? The food to your liking?" The young man stared at him. "Slept," he said. "There was a sword above my head, hanging by a single thread. How could I sleep? How could I eat? How could I think of anything but that sword?" King Janak looked at him with great kindness and said, "Now you understand what your master sent you here to learn. Last night I sat in my court. The music was playing, the dancers were dancing, the food was extraordinary, the conversation was brilliant, and above my head, as always, hung the sword. Its thread was just as thin, its blade just as sharp. I was just as aware of it as you were last night. Only I did not let it stop me from being completely present to the music, the food, the beauty of the evening. Because the sword is always there, for all of us, whether we look at it or not. Its name is death. And the question is not whether you can make it go away. The question is whether you can live fully with the sword above you, aware of it and undimmed by it. We spend so much of our lives trying not to look at the sword, filling our days with enough noise, enough distraction, enough busyness that we don't have to feel the thread above us. King Janak is not telling us to be afraid. He's telling us the opposite. That the awareness of the sword is not the enemy of joy. It is what makes joy possible. When you truly know that the thread is thin, the music sounds different. The food tastes different. The faces of the people you love look different. Everything becomes more itself, more precious, more real. The sword is not a reason to stop living. It is an invitation to start. I'll leave you with one question to carry into your day. What would you do differently today if you remembered that the thread is always a little thinner than you think? This has been The Long Thread. Ancient stories for the present moment. Tomorrow, another thread.